we make it so that we have a sliver mile of a high-speed rail in the middle of a Merced going to nowhere, which none of us really want that. We all want a high-speed rail. That'd be super cool, but because of our heavy regulation, we just kind of slapped a portion of it down there, uncompleted. This also falls down to our housing. Because of how much regulation we have, there's so much red tape to get anything built, we don't get anything built, so we don't have sufficient housing.
I mean, kind of to piggyback off what he's saying, it's artificial scarcity. In essence, it's the government who's imposing these problems. You know, we see zoning as a problem. They don't allow us to make duplexes in certain areas, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars just to create a house. And I think with that, if the government is creating this artificial scarcity to even develop new housing or make it a more affordable, aka build more and supply more, why would a bigger government do better if this small government's already doing worse?
How did we get into this?
Okay, no response, unfortunately, but that was a really good point. These are good points so far. I would add there that it's not really hitting at the problem, but he's very close to it. He's at least talking about the effects, which they cannot really deny at this point.
If I was on the socialist side as like a debater, what I would bring up is the story of like the mass investment in public housing that occurred in various countries. I would bring up probably France. I would bring up all of those examples which hide the unseen damage that this statist housing production causes. I would focus only on the solutions. And the funny part is that this is what they're doing in the United States. They're pointing at like the Norwegian, the Northern European countries. They're pointing at France. They're pointing at the Soviet Union with its quote-unquote successful social housing program. They're going to do that, and yet because they are in California, whenever they try to build it, the robbery is immediate. Like they don't have their control, and so it just becomes a scam immediately because the whole government is corrupt. And so they're advocating to give more money to scammers, and with the best of intentions. It's really ironic.
What is ancap?
Anarcho-capitalist.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I only disagreed because, okay, so you're lifted up out of the system, right? But can it be maintained like your now new living environment or situation? Or are you one check away from going back to where you were, which is how I feel we are today. So like, I'm still check to check today. Like if something happens, I could easily.
I don't know, bitch. Fucking, how about you be better? Be better at whatever the fuck it is you do. Be better. Be better, and then you won't be checked. Be better. Just be better.
Or from the traditionalist perspective, find a husband. I mean, become a housewife. Maybe it's not your calling. Maybe it's not your calling to work at a job. Maybe your calling is to raise children, and it should be respectable. And before 50% of the economy was robbed through various forms of takings, that used to be, in your beloved 50s, that used to be a possibility. And what happened to that?
Yeah, she
Not interested in feminist or socialist, to be honest.
She could be the wife of Jewish Eduardo, or more Mexican
Probably.
Eduardo, or big old fat Eduardo. She could be the husband. She could be the wife of any of these.
I think she got to do some personal development, to be honest.
She could be the wife of the pink hair.
Actually, probably. Yeah, no, it's if only we knew where the takings, who was doing the takings that made the living so hard for a person like her, besides her own actions.
End up
That's
back
not the
there.
prompt, though. Unfortunately,
So, but I'm giving an example. Thank you, Sebastian, of why I disagree.
God, that was so passive aggressive.
Shut the fuck up.
Agreed, and that was where I was going to leave it at, so I don't get too far off topic.
But I guess the response to that would be, what specific alternative would alleviate those concerns except for capitalism?
Right, and that's the thing. I'm an abolitionist, so I think we need to burn all that down. So I don't have the solution, but I just know that I disagreed with that for the reason I stated.
But I actually want to point to a couple.
There's no solution.
I do agree.
And also, the resolution is capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty than any other system. Okay, so all she has to say on that is burn it all down. But it's inherently comparative. Inherently comparative. If you don't have any sort of system here, like what are you why are you speaking? What? Shut up. Let the white man speak for once.
And to add to this, I mean, the question was, what do you replace this with? And she said, burn it all down. But last I checked, burn it all down doesn't really create wealth. So I'm not really sure how she's going to be living in a house, first of all, if it's all burned down.
No, I disagree. You guys are just racist. You're white thinking this. You need to black think this. I disagree. I think she pointed at a clear solution, and I think I actually, unironically, no joke, I believe that's a real solution. For people that believe that everything should just be burned down, we should implement like a free economic zone. Take Chicago, has-been city, lots of empty land, and this lady has to live in Chicago, and it's up to her to survive there. Now, we can even give her a head start. We'll give her farming tools and seeds, and like a year's supply of donated food from food banks or whatever. But after that, that's it. It's over. Everything got burned to the ground, and she can't access the medical system. She can't access any communication systems. There's just the remnants of civilization that she destroyed, and everything that would have been destroyed that requires capitalism, she has no access to. She can start over and build. It's a brave new world. I believe in her. She's a strong, independent woman, and there's definitely some ancient wisdom there. Let's put it to practical use.
Yeah.
That wasn't a clear solution though. That was a colored solution.
And if I think all communists should be given this choice. Like, okay, go out to the woods and have your own special economic zone. Let's do the communist experiment. Let's really do it. Go out there and produce, because you've got your labor. That's all that's required. Go out and produce. And unfortunately, in like 5 minutes, they're going to be on Mars. So I guess we're fucked at that point. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. Maybe.
There was a tragedy in the US, a real tragedy. The guys from Chaz tried to do that, but unfortunately, the land that they started doing it on was like either government land or somebody owned it, and so they were really unlucky, and it didn't work out for them. But really, it would be such a blessing if we let them have that experiment. I was crying really when they were evicted. I know other right-wingers were laughing. I thought it was a big mistake. I thought we should have like all donated to them to buy some remote parcel of land with water and with woods, and let them have it. Even have a TV show that tracks their life from a distance.
It would very quickly turn into like a live cam of the North Sentinelese tribe.